Hello everyone, this is Jonathan taking over the wheel of the channel again for today's video. How is everyone doing? Hopefully well, and if not, well then hopefully this video is able to distract you from life's problems for a little bit. I want to thank you all, both regular viewers and new, for watching so far, and please feel free to keep up the recommendations on what you guys want us to go over. Today's topic actually comes from multiple requests in the comments and on our Discord server. I specifically want to give a quick shout out and thank you to Siltrics, if I'm saying that name correctly, the creator of the videos, for dropping by the Discord and offering his videos as recommendations to us. Now, getting to what you're all here for.
The Batman.
Analog Horror Edition. Now, we're all pretty familiar with Batman, the Dark Knight, the Caped Crusader, World's Greatest Detective, etc. Now add a splash of analog horror and, well, you get the Bat Incident. Now, I will say for me personally, this is something I would have never have thought of as a concept, but seeing it done, I'm pretty impressed, and honestly, it's very well put together. The concept of mixing Batman with horror is something that isn't really unheard of. We've got the Batman Who Laughs, certain portions of the Arkham games, and I'm looking at you, Killer Croc mission, as well as just having one of his main villains be Scarecrow, whose whole gig is to scare you. So Batman and horror, it meshes pretty well. Now, getting into the first installment of the Batman Analog Horror, our video starts with introducing us to the time, April 26th, 1959, 20 years after the death of Thomas and Martha Wayne.
Why did you say that name?
Which, if you do some advanced calculus and subtract 20 years from 1959, you get 1939, the year that the first Batman comic was published. Also the start of World War II, but that's a different topic. Also, April 1959 is the year that Batman number 123 came out, and that involves Batman becoming a wanted fugitive, which is kind of similar to this whole tape. I'm not sure if this was done on purpose or not, but it's a little, fun fact. Some basic background info stated in this video is that the Elizabeth Arkham Asylum was put into a lockdown after a mysterious figure was spotted near the roof of the building. Another fun fact, the name Elizabeth Arkham is the name of the mother of Amadeus Arkham, the founder of Arkham Asylum. If you want to get even more technical, the name Arkham is a reference to Arkham, Massachusetts, a fictional city referenced in many of H.P. Lovecraft's stories. Moving on though, we are introduced to the footage that was recovered of the lockdown announcement from that very night. The footage starts off with a traumatizing jingle from the Batman Arkham Asylum game, and for those of you who have ever played the game, I'm sure you know what I mean. A British robotic voice announces that all staff must follow lockdown procedures due to a disturbance on the roof of the building. The GCPD and Arkham Security have been dispatched to deal with the possible intruder. But considering it's fucking Gotham PD, I would not be holding my breath. Now, the tape introduces the special patients that the staff must follow specific procedures for. These patients being the infamous Waylon Jones, Killer Croc, Kirk Langstrom, or Longstrom? Either one, I guess, the Man-Bat, Dr. Pamela Lillian, I don't want to mispronounce her last name, but Poison Ivy.
You're dead and buried, darling.
And Brick. Hello!
And finally, John Doe, aka the Joker.
I'm the Joker, baby!
We are warned that if we encounter any suspicious activity or a man dressed as a bat, to turn the other way and alert security. And the tape says it's going to loop until the situation is resolved. The video then explains that the individual was described as a man in a bat suit hiding in a corner. Side note that some of the text and grammar in these videos is not entirely correct. In Siltrics' bio this is mentioned, so I'm just gonna just ignore it. You get what it's trying to say. We are then met with an artist rendition. I hate that. I don't like looking at that. The whispering voices and distorted footage also isn't making me feel any safer. Simple, but effective. It reminds me of those photos of how criminals see Batman, like Ben Affleck, just stalking you in the dark. Caleb, my editor, please throw up some examples. It's terrifying. The Batman was then seen heading to the special prisoner area, so, you know, they're cooked. Afterwards, screaming is heard and the Batman vanishes, not a trace as to where he could have went. But the impact has left Gotham shaken to this day. Only the Joker survived the encounter with the Batman. The rest were gruesomely murdered and left with a bat symbol marked on what was left of their corpses. The corpses were also arranged in the shape of a bat. Each of the bodies had their distinct abnormalities removed, such as Killer Croc being skinned and his eyes gouged out and teeth ripped out. Ivy was scalped and her corpse was also skinned. Man-Bat had his arms amputated, as well as blunt force trauma to his body, and a batarang impaled in his chest. The Joker was left untouched, but he was left even less sane than before the encounter. The Joker is now obsessed with the Batman, only talking about him and drawing sketches of the Bat, saying he will be ready for the Bat's return. This is the image he drew. Yeah, I could see why he went crazy. If I saw that creeping in the dark and murdering the people around me, I don't think I would ever recover. You have to be a special kind of crazy and terrifying to leave the Joker, of all people, traumatized. The tape does an excellent job, in my opinion, at setting up the atmosphere and setting of this whole incident. This is a solid start to a potentially fantastic horror series. Not a whole lot really happens in this tape, but it does have lore to Bruce Wayne, so technically it is important. This tape is one of Jim Gordon's logs, the captain of the GCPD. He explains that it's been a year since the Bat incident, putting us in 1960. There have now been multiple sightings of the Batman, and he finds it strange that the incident took place on the same day as the Wayne's death. He trails off to empathizing with Bruce Wayne, explaining that Bruce began exhibiting strange behavior before he went missing. Ted Cord, CEO of Cord Industries, told Gordon about Bruce pretty much tweaking and being very weird and strange. And shortly after Cord told Gordon this, Cord Industries burned down with everyone in it. We then get 2 photos of Bruce, one before he went tweaker and one after. No one knows what happened to Bruce, but some theories are that he is dead, he's traveling around the world, or he never left Gotham. And that Bruce Wayne is actually the Batman. And this is the theory that Gordon believes. The footage is distorted and interrupted by a broadcast from the Batman saying that vengeance is coming, and more flashing images of the sketch we saw in the first tape. And this is also followed by some distorted words and noises and just, you know, some spooky atmosphere.
Citizens of Gotham, vengeance is coming.
The video then abruptly ends. Like I said, nothing really super noteworthy if you know the backstory of Bruce Wayne and Batman. In terms of turning it into like a horror aspect, it's not really anything that's too surprising, but like I said, it does add lore to this world. GCPD Instructional Presentation Video. We are greeted by the GCPD logo greeting the citizens of Gotham in 1962, putting us 3 years ahead of the Bat incident. Our topic is what to do if a loved one is missing. Not exactly the kind of presentation I would want to see, but we're gonna go into it. So what steps do we take to protect our loved ones from being kidnapped? Step 1. We keep an eye on them at all times, especially children, so that we don't lose them forever. Now, I think the term forever is a bit startling.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Step 2. Lock them inside so they don't escape. I mean go out, so they don't go out. Step 3. Don't let them make contact with the Bat under any circumstance, because it will harm you.
It will harm you.
And then it starts pulling a Sauron, and it starts glitching and transcending time and space. Honestly, I really dig the visuals. And then we get a spooky voice that ominously states, Please tell me why that quote goes so hard. Beginning of this tape is pretty standard for an analog horror, it's the usual PSA. But the slow transition of the whole tape being just a warning to stay away from Batman, I think was well executed. What is also concerning about the Batman is the fact that the PSA specifically emphasizes keeping children away from him, which honestly is an interesting and kind of fucked up parallel of the Batman taking different Robins. Just a little thing I thought was interesting, but, it's a neat spin on it. The Truth, also taking place in 62. We are greeted by some text saying that the creator of this is not supposed to be giving us this information, and they've tried everything to get this out without being caught. The Batman is Bruce Wayne, or at least he was. The Bruce, human part of him, if you want to call it that, is gone, and only the Bat remains. Bruce is skinnier, yet he still has incredible strength and agility, most likely due to some type of drug. This drug could be alluding to the possible Bane venom, but that remains to be seen. The last incident of the Bat involved a boy walking back home from seeing his friends, and he spots the Batman in an alley, and the boy was able to capture this haunting photo. On the bright side, crime is down, and Arkham is nearly empty, so mission accomplished for the Batman? The creator goes back to explaining that they have proof that Wayne is Batman. Firstly, Bruce hasn't been seen since the Arkham incident 3 years ago. Second is a supposed leaked audio recording that is real, and we're about to listen to it. We are warned not to show law enforcement in fear that Batman will find out. And we also get an ominous quick flash of red text, which I will let you read right here. The audio recording begins with a heavily distorted and haunting voice that claims to be Bruce Wayne.
My name is Bruce Wayne. I am here to confess.
He explains his parents' names and that they were murdered when he was a child. He states that he is here to confess and that if we're listening to this, his plan has worked. The people of Gotham will submit, and he is Gotham's judge, jury, and executioner. Then we get the classic, I am the night, and if I'm going to be honest, the last line of this entry is kind of hard to understand. From listening to it a few times, I think it could be one of three things. I am here, I am fear, or I am, and then it cuts off. Typically, after this am, it's usually followed by Batman, which would fulfill the quote, I am the night, I am Batman, which is referencing the Batman animated series, and this line has kind of become an iconic Batman line. But let me know what you guys think it says, because from reading the comments of the video itself, it seems there are some people in the same boat who aren't really sure. And that is it for today's video. I went over the first 4 entries from Siltrics on this series. There are more videos if you want to go check them out. I would highly recommend them. If you guys would like to see us cover those extra videos, please let us know. And as again, if you have any other recommendations, we are always open and willing to hear what you guys want us to cover. I thank you again for watching. If you are still watching at this point, I thank you. If you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share us with your friends. It helps us out immensely. Please feel free to check out all of our other videos on the channel, as well as check out our Discord. Once again, this is Jonathan, my editor Caleb. Thank you, Caleb, for all your little jokes that you helped me out with in this video. And yeah, so I will see you all in the next video. Thank you again, and stay safe.